This is Ron Higgins with the Shreveport Bossier Journal.com and the RonHiggins.com here in the press box in Tiger Stadium after kind of another game that's typical of LSU's football season. Love the offense. The defense, Georgia State scored 14 points and LSU scored, it was tied 14-14 at one point, and you kind of wondered, my God, can't this defense stop anything? But when you have Jaden Daniels, it kind of, makes you not want to get so drunk at halftime. You just want to be sober enough to watch all the fireworks in the second half. I don't know what's left to say about this guy. He's just, along with Joe Burrow, he's the best football player we've ever seen at LSU. You can't deny that at this point. All the fans who doubt him all last year, at the beginning of this year, you can't say anymore. What this kid is doing on a weekly basis is unbelievable. Tonight, did he pad his stats? Yeah, he sure did. You know what? And some people look at that as being horrible, but there hasn't been a game this year until tonight. There's been a deliberate move to pad his stats. He didn't play in the second half of the Army and Grambling games, the blowouts. This is the first time there's been a concerted effort against an overmatched opponent for him to stay in the game and run up some stats. And honestly, Brian Kelly is unapologetic for it. He said, we're going to put this kid in position. He's in position to win the Heisman. We're going to do everything we can to give him that shot. I can't blame him for saying that. I mean, you got to give the kid the best chance possible. You're not going to yank him out of a game where he can put up some big numbers. And he put up some big numbers again. 509 yards total offense. God, it's just, you almost say this stuff on a weekly basis. It's just ridiculous. Do you remember like 10 years ago? Like 2015, even when Fournette was around here, how crappy the LSU offense was, how outdated it was, just like it was, you had like a caveman calling the offensive plays. I mean, there's no imagination whatsoever. It was god-awful, boring. This puts you in a Les Miles coma. It got a little bit under Ed, but I mean, of course, Joe Burrow was the best it had, but it's nothing like we're seeing here. I mean, LSU moved into an offense into a new era of run option that's just fantastic. It's fantastic to watch. It's just explosive. And God, if they would have had an ounce of defense this year, they'd probably be in the playoffs. And that's the thing that probably LSU fans kind of bothers them the most. You're not used to LSU defenses being this god-awful bad. And they have sucked all year. Sucked. This team, Georgia State, scored 14 points each in their last two games against Appalachian State and somebody else. They lost both games 42-14, and they're tied with LSU 14-14 second quarter. That's inexcusable. But again, what makes all this, didn't make your stomach hurt, it doesn't make you put your fist through a wall, is you have Jaden Daniels running all over the other team and just making play after play like he's done against every team this year. It doesn't matter speaking of the SEC defenses or anybody else. He's done it every game. And there is no doubt in my mind this guy deserves a Heisman. He's played against better defenses than Bo Nix. And let's face it, Bo Nix sucked in the SEC. He was an awful quarterback. All of a sudden he goes to the Pac-10 and everything's great. Isn't it funny how Jaden Daniels came from the Pac-12, Pac-10, whatever it is now? It's about to be Pac-nothing after this year. He left that league to play in the best league in college football and is tearing it up. Bo Nix left the SEC because he didn't do well. He went up there and all of a sudden he's a god. Well, I guess in the Pac-12 you can be a god when you have no defenses. This kid, Jaden Daniels, what he's done at LSU this year is unsurpassed. And he's even done some things Joe Burrow couldn't do. And Joe's strength with his throwing arm, this kid has done it both ways, and it's been fantastic. Tonight, 509 yards, 25 of 30 passing for 413 and 6 touchdowns. 96 yards rushing, 10 attempts, 2 TDs. this happens every week. And tonight he his best receiver has caught a bunch of balls. Malik Neighbors, who's leading the nation in receiving yards, 8 catches for 140 yards, 2 touchdowns. Brian Thomas, who leads the nation in touchdown catches, 4 catches for 103 yards and 1 touchdown. Kyron Lacey, their third best receiver, 5 catches, 101 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Georgia State had their moments. The quarterback, Marcus Carroll, was killed at 14 at one point, and that's when they were at 14-14. And LSU finally stopped a team with definitely not as much talent, a lot of 3-star recruits. And that's what aggravating when you watch LSU's defense. You think these guys are supposed to be 4- and 5-star recruits, and they're getting shoved around by 3-star recruits. That's what really kind of gets you a little angry when you watch this team. But it's the end of the year. They got one more game against Texas A&M. Honestly, I don't know who in the hell's their coach now. I just know Jimbo took the money and ran. He's probably buying an island somewhere in the Caribbean with all that money. And he's probably going to host beach parties with Ed Orgeron. So Jimbo's out. I don't know who's coaching. They come in here next weekend. It's an 11 o'clock game in the morning. Always a challenge for LSU fans with 11 o'clock games to get properly lubricated by 11 o'clock. But I have a feeling they can do it. You start drinking sometime on Thursday afternoon, you'll get there. Last home game for Jaden Daniels and probably a lot of these receivers. It'll be a big game. And then this is Jaden Daniels' last chance to impress Heisman voters. Of course, the Heisman Trophy will be awarded 2 weeks from Saturday. Yeah. Next week is the SEC Championship game. After that, the week after that's the Heisman Trophy. So 2 weeks from Saturday, 2 weeks from next Saturday, the award for Heisman Trophy. This is Jaden Daniels' last chance. I hope he goes and gets it. This has been a really good kid on this team. This team likes him. He's been a really good leader. He's a pleasant kid. He works hard. What he's done this year to improve is just phenomenal. And I feel lucky to have covered a guy like this. I've done this for almost 45 years now, and when you get to cover a guy like this who's done such phenomenal things and is such a good person and a pleasant human being to deal with, it makes your job easier, and you appreciate your job rather than some days when you don't like your job and because coaches are jerks and players are not nice people. But everybody has problems in their jobs. But this guy, I can't say enough good things about. I'm so glad he came to LSU. I'm so glad he transferred here, and he'll be missed by a lot of people. But you got one more game. Let's go kick some butt, Jaden Daniels. We'll see you next week after the game.